Brandon Royval beats Brandon Moreno by split decision on UFC Mexico City. The first round starts off very conservative. Both fighters are just feeling each other out. Royval kept spamming the left body kick, which was being blocked very well by Brandon Moreno. And I think Royval landed on an elbow or a knee and really hurt his left kick because he kept shaking it. And even after the first round, the corner was putting an ice on it. And the first round just ended up being a very slow round, and I gave to Brandon Moreno because he landed the better shots and the cleaner shots in that round. Then if we move on to round 2, when Brandon Moreno was on fire, he literally cannot miss with his overhands. He keeps landing them, and Royval, he was having problem. He was doing what Volkanovski was doing. You know how Volkanovski against Ilia Topuria, he would exit with his hands down and the chin in the air, and that's how Royval was trying to get out of the way of Brandon Moreno's overhands, but he just kept getting clipped, like either at the end of the punch or just straight up taking the punch, and it took Royval a little while to adjust to it. So yeah, the second round was mostly Brandon Moreno, but at the end, like 30 to 25 seconds left in the round, Royval kept spamming the left body kick, and he got Brandon Moreno really good with the left body kick. I think it actually hurt Brandon Moreno because as soon as the body kick landed, Brandon Moreno took the fight to the ground, but Royval didn't do enough to win that round. So going to the third round, I had this 2-0 Brandon Moreno. The third, fourth, and fifth round were very similar. It was basically output versus quality. Brandon Royval couldn't stop throwing in these last 3 rounds, man. He just jab, 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 uppercut, jab, 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 straight. Everything he just had, he just kept throwing. And while in my opinion, Brandon Moreno was landing the harder and more quality shots, but there were so few. And while he would start like resetting, Royval just landed like 3 light jabs and 1 hard uppercut in that meanwhile. But starting off in round 3 and going all the way to round 5, Brandon Moreno was doing a really slick combination. He would either throw the overhand or he would fake the overhand, and then he would chop the leg of Brandon Royval, and this landed almost 90% of the time. It took Royval a lot of time to adjust to it, and even when he did adjust to it, either the overhand would land or the kick would land. He couldn't really dodge like the full combination. I had this fight 2-2 going to the 5th round, and I just thought Brandon Royval did a little bit more in the 5th round. It was a very close 5th round because if we look at it, again, it was just volume versus quality. Brandon Moreno landed the better quality and harder shots, but Royval, you can't ignore that volume. Even though he wasn't doing that much damage, he was still landing a ton. And they were like shoe shine, they were like tappy shots, but still they were landing, and you can't really discredit that. And man, this it wasn't like the greatest war of all time, but it was really solid fight. I see people saying it was pretty boring. I don't know how they find it boring. Any fight that's 2-2 going to the 5th round and the paces like this is pretty exciting to me. But yeah, as for flyweight, I don't know what the division gonna do because Royval called out Pantoja, and Pantoja's already beating him twice. And the last fight they had was pretty dull, and Pantoja basically dominated. So yeah, man, this division without Figueiredo seems kind of dull. So I have no clue who's getting the title next. And as for Brandon Moreno, he looked very off in this fight. He's showing his age maybe, and he's not even that young, but like his fighting age is pretty old because he's been in many wars. But let's see what happens and what's next for both. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.